Good evening. This is Edward with sonsofgod.com. The date is Wednesday, December 30th, 2009. This probably will be our last post until next year. 7-8 years ago, John Wayne appeared to us. We're not really John Wayne fans. We're not really fans of any of Hollywood's actors, for that matter. However, he appeared and wanted to know when we were going to complete the book, that they were waiting for the book. And I thought to myself, I don't have a book on the tables to be completed. But I didn't say that to him. I just pondered on it. And even though we are working on a book right now, which hopefully will be done very soon, I realize that what he was looking for and what the cloud of witnesses are looking for and what the martyrs that have died in the faith are looking for is that book that Revelation speaks of. And when that book is us, we are the Word made flesh, to be read and known of all men. And this is what they're looking for. We started this week on a very intense drive to move into a deeper level of reality. As you recall, on the last short audio meditation, the focus of that word concerns experiencing the Word and experiencing the kingdom. And as far as I'm concerned, people aren't looking for Christianity. People aren't looking for doctrine. People aren't looking for rhetoric and to hear and have their ears tickled. Not those that are really driven to walk with God in this hour. They're looking for a realm of experience. They're looking to experience the kingdom, experience the Word. And this has been our drive, as the Lord has made it very evident that unless we experience His Word, or you could say experience Him in His Word, then we have not heard that Word. And so we began this week with a deep emptying out of ourselves. And I've seen it over and over again, because I've seen it myself. It's very easy to identify things when you have seen them in yourself. And the Word talks about, unless you're a child, you should not enter the kingdom. And we know the Scripture talks about the camel and the eye of the needle. We know that it speaks of Christ, that when He appeared in flesh, He emptied Himself out, even though He was deity. And my concern for those of you that are truly driven to enter into sonship, we're talking about really entering into the transformation that God has for a very small handful of people. And it keeps getting smaller, and it keeps getting smaller. But the concern has been that we come before the Lord without concepts. We still have far too many concepts. Now we've addressed that to some extent with the issue of bonds. Bonding to people, whether through sympathy, through soul, whatnot, or through your concepts of them, or their projected thoughts of you. It's all in the realm of concepts. I'm sure all of you have a concept of Ann and I. I mean, that just seems to be how the mind works. And yet how difficult it would be, or it has been, to come before the Lord as a blank tablet and to look upon people without casting judgment or surmising, oh yes, I know who Jesus is. He's the carpenter's son. You know, there was a reason why Christ couldn't do many mighty works in his hometown. It was because of familiarity breeds contempt. That's been quite a problem for everyone that walks with God, everyone that's transitioning into the kingdom, because at some point your relationships have to change, because you have got to get free. But the problem is, as you start to break those contacts and those bonds, those to whom you've related to still hold you back because they still see you a certain way, and yet you're moving forward. It's part of the challenge that we face. Even in the most spiritual relationships you might have, as you're pressing into the deeper things of the Lord, then there's going to be a breaking of those bonds, a breaking of the relationships on the levels that they were on. It is what it is. You know, we do the best we can as we walk before the Lord to walk in His Word and to apply it in our lives. And we make mistakes constantly. But here again, it just has to do with, as our relationships are shifting, we've really got to let go. And here again, when we break the contacts, we break the bonds, we have to really let go of our concepts towards another. And I think that's much more difficult than people understand, because I still see it constantly. But let me get back to, there's a number of things I want to talk about, and we'll see what the Lord does here with this, because there were a number of things that the Lord made very clear this morning. So I'll go back to the issue of concepts. As this week began, and for those whom God is bringing into this path, is that we empty out. And you've heard the saying, how do you fill a glass up when it's already full? And I tell you, every one of us have concepts. We have a revelation of the Lord in a certain hour, a certain time frame, and yet that's only a partial. And when the Lord is ready to reveal more of Himself on a much clearer level, we're still carrying around these concepts. Our glass is still full. You can't fill it up. So the requirement has been to empty out. Let the Lord bring afresh exactly how He wants to show you who He is and what He's doing. Reminds me of the children of Israel. As you recall the story, they would get manna every day, but if they didn't eat the manna, the next day the manna went bad. And it's like, okay, Lord, I'm delighted with the manna you gave us yesterday, the revelation, you are appearing to us, and the unfolding of all that you are in us. That was yesterday. And I'm not going to live on yesterday's manna, because today is a new day, and today you're doing something completely new. So, as the week has unfolded, the concern about bonds has gone to a much greater level than we saw earlier. And it really has to do, here again, with our capability of hearing. Now, if you've read the words on bonds that we've brought, you know we're talking about our ability to see, our ability to hear. This is nothing new. But I don't think what we understand is that until every last vestige has been dealt with within our hearts, the Lord continues to bring this whole aspect of bonds, concepts, deeper and deeper. You can say, well, boy, I really plumbed the depths of it today. Yes, you did. But tomorrow is a different thing. And God continues to plumb the depth.